Time now for the markets with Leighton. And Leighton, pond bank catfish prices, you say, tend to nudge a little higher.
And also feed booking prices for those growers for 2014 are even looking better, and we'll have more on catfish a bit later. We're also following these stories in the markets. Analysts advise patience in the corn pit as far as making sales, that it may bring rewards. Softwood lumber exports to China set a record, while the cattle trade has been awaiting the new on-feed numbers that came out Friday afternoon, the 20th. Wednesday's session in the soybean pit is being described by the trade as a volatile one. The private analytical firm Informa reduced estimated planted acreage for U.S. beans, and that supported new crop futures prices. Trader Naomi Bloom says it looks like we'll have over $13 soybeans possibly into the new year, and that it may be a time to make some sales.
With the fact that the global production is just so tremendous and our global ending stocks are huge and the United States producer is probably going to be planting more beans next year, don't get cute and try to wait around, because this is your opportunity coming, I think, over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Also this week, Informa estimated U.S. planted corn acreage for 2014 at 91.8 million acres, a slight bump up from their previous estimated number. Analyst John Roach says he's not going to be aggressive in selling corn because of issues in the South American crop that will impact the global market and prices.
South America corn production is going to tank compared to last year. They can't make any money. They're not going to plant the amount of corn. They're not going to raise the size of corn. So instead of dealing with the supply burdensome, one of these days we're going to start talking about how small their corn crop's going to be in South America because they can't make any money, and how small it'll be again next year if price levels stay where they are. So the demand on corn, I think, is what people need to start focusing on, and I think that causes the market some bounce. Nothing crazy, just move to a price level where we can see grain moving out of first hands.
Turning to forestry, numbers in this month indicate North American softwood lumber exports to China soared to a record level in October, over 400 million board feet. Now that surpassed the previous record set in 2011. Exports from both the United States and Canada were record volumes for a single month. Well, our trivia quiz this week concerns weeds, and here's your first look at our question. What invasive weed is actually a variety of grain sorghum? Is the answer Johnson grass, or Palmer amaranth, or barnyard grass, or trumpet creeper? I'll tell you at the end of the markets. Farmweek continues with a check of the latest snapshot of our U.S. farm-raised catfish industry. These numbers reflect what was happening during the month of November. Last month, producers received a pond bank price of $1.11 per pound for premium-size live fish. That is 29 cents per pound more than was paid in November 2012. Now, farm sales totaled close to 24 million pounds round weight, an increase of 8% from 1 year ago. Processor sales were almost 11.5 million pounds. That is down almost 15% from November 2012. Friday afternoon, December 20th, brought the release of the last cattle on feed report of the year. Extension Ag economist Brian Williams discussed his outlook for the beef sector in this recent interview. Brian, have the cattle market's been a little slower this week, waiting on the new on-feed numbers?
They have been. Part of it's probably because of the cattle on feed report, but also it's just naturally slow this time of the year with the slaughter being down with the holidays and that sort of thing.
All right. You've had a little chance to see what some of the trade is talking about, the on-feed numbers in advance. What kind of situation are we looking at? What kind of setup?
Well, what we're seeing right now is the average estimate out there on the market is the on-feed is expected to be down about 4.6%. Placements are expected to be up just a little bit. And then marketed is expected to be down a little more than 5% from a year ago.
So November may be a little larger than the previous report.
Potentially on the placements, but there's a lot of variability in there.
You were telling me they were all over the board.
Yeah, I saw there's estimates anywhere from being down 8% to being up a little more than 4%. So it's all over the board on that. So this report may, in fact, after it's released, be a market mover to some respect, depending on how those numbers shake out. There's the potential there, yes.
All right. Would you say the fat cattle market is a little more fragile? Is it a little more subject to, you know, a quick reversal in these coming weeks?
I think it is. The general economy, I think, is a little bit more of a driver in the fat cattle market than it is in the feeder cattle market. And the good thing is that we've seen a lot of good reports coming out, the housing starts, the unemployment, you know, positive news across the board, but there's still some concern with consumer demand with higher beef prices there.
Mm-hmm. Now on the other side, flip side, the feeder market, that has definitely had some strength, and would you say that's likely to be supported into the new year?
I think so, yeah. We've seen replacement retention up this year, and when you combine that with the lower numbers overall, that's really helped to support the feeder cattle market. And then we have lower corn prices than what we had this summer.
Before our feature story, let's check out the trivia answer for this week, and the correct choice is A. Johnson grass is a variety of grain sorghum.